Chosen one, stop. Here's a secret about what's coming next. It's the exact thing you secretly wished for, but thought was impossible. Don't skip this or you'll miss the one chance to claim it. Whatever you were in the middle of, set it down for a moment because this message did not find you by accident. And the timing of it is not random. It was like a voice inside you said, pay attention to this one, I want you to. Trust that voice, because what is about to be said over your life is the kind of thing that only comes to someone when there is a reason you opened this exactly now in the middle of an ordinary day when 100 other things were pulling at you. They stopped moving long enough to hear it. Let me tell you a story about how this message got to you so you can understand how important it is. A word was pressed on my spirit for someone right where you are, which is part of what I'm going to say today. So there will be times when I say it the way it came to me, as if the Father was speaking directly to you. This isn't because I'm special, but because some words lose their power when they go through too many steps. This is the first of those words. The Father says, "My child, stop running for one moment because I have been trying to get a message to you and the noise of your striving has been drowning it out. Sit with that because you know it is true. You have been so busy holding your life together that you have not had a single quiet moment to hear what heaven has been trying to say. The fatigue you feel is not only physical. It is the fatigue of a person who has been carrying a conversation. They keep postponing a knowing, they keep silencing a message they can feel pressing against them, but never slow down enough to receive. Today you slowed down and that is why this found you. Let me tell you what the urgency is actually about. Because I do not want you to be afraid. When heaven says, stop everything and open this immediately, it is almost never a warning of disaster. It is the opposite. It is the urgency of good news that has waited too long. It is a parent who cannot hold the surprise any longer who says, drop what you are doing. Come here. I have something to show you and I cannot wait another second. The immediacy is not the urgency of fear. If you can feel the truth of that, if something in you just softened at the thought that the urgency might be love and not alarm, do one thing with me before we. It is the urgency of love that has been waiting to be received. Go further. Comment the words, I stopped to listen. Not because a comment changes heaven, but because the act of saying it tells your own restless spirit that for once you are choosing to receive instead of to run. Here is what I need you to understand about why this had to be immediate. There are messages that can wait and there are messages that lose their meaning if they are delayed. This one is the second kind because you have been standing at a threshold for some time now. A moment of decision, a turning, a door. And you have been hesitating, postponing, telling yourself you will deal with it later. And heaven is saying do not wait until later because later is where good intentions go to die. The window of clarity you have right now in this stilled moment is precisely the window in which the thing you have been avoiding becomes possible. But I have to be honest with you about something because you came here for there. Is a reason that sincere faithful people receive a clear word from heaven and then. That is why it had to be now. Somehow fail to act on it. The clarity comes, the moment opens, and within days it fades and they slip back into the same fog they were in before. It is not because they did not believe. It is because of a specific condition that keeps faithful people from holding on to the clarity long enough to obey it. And I am going to tell you what a team of researchers in New York discovered about it because what they found explains something spiritually sensitive people. I am going to tell you exactly what that condition is later in this message. Have struggled with their whole lives, but never had words for. For now, hold only this one question as we go. What if the reason your moments of clarity keep slipping away was never a lack of discipline or faith, but something inside you that can actually be restored? Hold that, we will return to it. But first, the Father has something to say to you about why He chose this exact moment to interrupt your life, and you need to hear it before anything else. Let me name some of the ways this has been showing up so you know I am speaking to you and not to a stranger. You have had a recurring sense lately that you were supposed to do something or stop doing something, and you keep pushing the thought away because it is inconvenient. You have felt a strange resistance to your own routines as if your life is trying to tell you it is time for a change you have been avoiding. And in quiet moments when the business finally drops, you have felt the nearness of something. A presence, a knowing that you have been to two to sit with. None of that is random. Those are the fingerprints of heaven trying to get your attention through every channel it has. You have also been more aware than usual of how fast time is moving. A sense that the seasons are turning, that you do not want to waste any more of your life, that something needs to shift before another year slips by. It is heaven sharpening your sense of urgency so that when this moment came, you would be willing to actually stop and listen instead of filing it away for it. That awareness is a gift, not a burden. Later that never comes. The very fact that you stopped today when you could have scrolled past is proof that the part of you connected to heaven is still alive and still listening. That part of you is about to be vindicated. The Father says, "My child, I did not interrupt your day to scold you. I cut it short because you were about to accept less than what I had planned and I couldn't stand by and watch you do it. You were about to settle for a smaller version of your life snorts by talking yourself into the safe choice, the dim dream, the relationship, the path, or the. In short, that's why this needs to be done right away because you're tired of hoping. Resignation that asks less of you. But heaven moved to stop you, not to shame you, but to keep you from closing a door that was never meant to be closed. Let me tell you what's been going on in the unseen because it changes the whole season. Recent problems you've been having have made you think that you should lower your goals. Things like being turned down, waiting, and being let down made you feel like life was telling you to want less. That was not a sign to settle down, though. They were heaven taking away the less desirable choices so you wouldn't have to make a choice before the better one came along. It felt like doors were closing on you, but they were really closing for you to make room for something you couldn't see yet. It wasn't rejection that caused the narrowing, it was safety. Here's the first thing I want you to really get. Right now is very important because you are closer than ever to the real thing. And that is also the time when you want to settle down the most. At the start when hope is high, people don't give up. Near the end, when they are most worn out and the breakthrough is most close, they give up. Someone who is against your fate doesn't have to make you fail. He only needs to move you one step toward the door. That's why heaven stopped you today. You were about to give up the real thing for the acceptable thing. But love wouldn't let you. Also, let me reframe the tiredness, because it has been making it hard for you to make decisions. When you are this tired, any smaller choice seems like a good idea. When you're tired, settling down seems like the smart thing to do. But a choice you make when you're tired is almost never the choice your true self snorts would make. Your tiredness has been telling you lies. It thinks that the safe, smaller path is maturity, but it's really surrender. In this case, heaven told you to stop because you were about to make a very important choice while you were very tired. That should have stopped you in your tracks if you realized you were about to settle for less than you were meant to have. Write this down. Talk about the words "I will not settle." What you said is not a small claim. That person is refusing even though they are completely worn out to trade their fate for comfort. And heaven loves that kind of refusal more than you can imagine. That's it for now. The second thing is the key that opens everything. You are right now in this moment of stillness when you feel clear, not the fog where you live most of the time. Your whole life has been backwards. You thought that being confused. Second, guessing yourself and not being able to hold on to a clear thought was just part of who you are. The few times when you were clear seemed like gifts that came and went. It's actually the other way around. What makes you clear is who you really are. This is what the fog is. And the fog can be taken away if it's just interference and not identity. And the peace of mind you feel in times like these can become your home instead of just a resort you visit. This changes the whole issue. It's like trying to read small print in a dark room while you've been trying to make better decisions. There was no need to squint more to answer, turn on the light. Not because you don't have enough willpower either. Your good choices and clear words keep getting lost. It's that you keep going back to the dark room. You get a moment of light, a word or clarity, and then you walk back into the same conditions that throw you off. And there's no way to bring the light with you. All along, what you needed wasn't more work. It kept the light on. I told you I would talk about what a group of people in New York found about this condition. The fog that covers clarity and the dark room. You keep going back to this discovery doesn't matter until you fully understand the problem it solves. I'm almost ready to bring it forward. That's why before you look for the answer, you should see what your life is like when the light stays on and clarity is every day. There is something that heaven stopped you today to give you. So let me show it to you. Now I want you to notice one more thing about why this moment is so important. For years to come, people will remember the choices you make in the next short season. These few days are not like any other. You are at one of those rare turning points where a few decisions can change the course of a decade. That is exactly why heaven moved so quickly to stop you. Going through a season that doesn't matter much is one thing. It's a different thing to drift through the season that sets the tone for everything that comes after. There's no way you can make these choices when you're tired, confused, or just settling down. Heaven loves you too much to let you sleepwalk through the most important decision of your life. Snorts, the stakes are too high, so see the need for speed as a gift. The interruption did not cause any trouble. It saved lives. Heaven reached into your normal day and stopped you because what's at stake now is too important to lose to something else. In order to calm down, let that sink in. You're not behind because you stopped. You're right on time and doing nothing at the exact moment when it would be smartest to do nothing. I need to give you a third thing before we talk about the vision. This will protect the clarity you are getting right now. When you finally stop and get a clear word, you almost always don't want to act on it right away. Within hours, doubts and reasons why it won't work start to creep in. There is a voice telling you that you made it up, that you need to be realistic, that you should go back to the smaller plan. It was likely to happen this way. So, it doesn't mean the word was false because lies aren't fought back this hard. It means the word was true. As soon as you start moving again, the clarity you have in this stopped moment will be tested. I'm warning you now, so that you will see the resistance for what it is and not let it talk you back into the fog. Now, while the light is on, make up your mind about what you'll do when it gets dark again. Pick the deal that you won't change in the dark what was clear in the light. If you need to write down the clarity, keep it in place because the whole battle of your next season will depend on how long you can hold on to what heaven showed. When you're feeling clear, you shouldn't let doubts get in the way of the choices you make. You in times like these, that's what the discovery I'm about to tell you makes possible more than anything else. But first, let me show you what your life will be like when the light doesn't go out. Let me show you the future that heaven didn't want to give you today. Now, picture a morning a few months from now, when the clarity you feel in this moment of stillness is just how you wake up. Not a special gift that comes and goes, but your normal state. When you open your eyes, your mind is calm and clear. You know what's important today. You no longer have to keep second guessing yourself, which used to stop you in your tracks. You can now make clear decisions about things that used to take you weeks of agonizing back. And fourth, this is because the fog that used to stand between you and what you knew is gone. That's how it feels to have the light on all the time. You'll wonder how you made it through the dark room for so long after you taste it. I'll show you the second side of that future. You stop settling because you can finally hold on to it. It's no longer possible to get a clear word and then talk yourself out of it. You should do something while the light is still bright. When heaven shows you something and your life stops moving toward the smaller, safer version of your destiny that you used to settle for because you were tired, it starts moving toward your true destiny. You build a life that fits what you were meant to do one choice at a time because you can finally follow the clarity instead of losing it. This is the third phase and it gets to the core of you. The closeness you've only felt sometimes in quiet time stays with you all the time. That presence you feel today, the one you haven't had time to sit with because of other things, becomes someone you walk with every day. Heaven and earth have been talking to each other like they were talking into a wall, but now they can finally hear each other clearly. Under all your other wants, this is what you've been most hungry for. Not just clarity to make decisions, but connection. Every day when the fog that was blocking the signal finally lifts, it can be used. And now comes the fourth phase, which is what it all means. You change into someone who makes people stop and listen. What you got today, the gift of being stopped by love and learning to listen, you will give to people who are still running, still settling down, and still too cloudy to hear what heaven is trying to say to them. People will want to be still around you. Your clarity becomes a safe place for people who are lost. This doesn't just come to you for yourself. You turn into someone that heaven uses to stop other people. There is a fifth part of that future that I don't want you to miss. It has to do with your relationships. You stop being the half-present distracted person. You are around the people you love when you live with the light on. They fully understand and are listening to you without any distractions. The fog that has made it hard for you to see clearly has also made it hard for you to be with the people who matter most. They have felt it even when they couldn't put their finger on it because you were in the room with them while your mind was elsewhere. There is no more to say. Once the receiver is clear, you show up, and being there for the people in your home is the best gift you can give them. Being clear not only changes the choices you make, but also the air your loved ones breathe. Set that future in stone right now, because what you say starts to come true. Talk about the words, the light stays on. Say it not like a beggar hoping, but like a chosen one calling the promised clarity to move in. It's not the first time that heaven has stopped in the middle of a normal day. So, let me give what you're going through an old face. Think about Samuel, the boy who was sleeping in the temple and heard his name being called in the middle of the night. He didn't know what it was the first time. Even the second time he thought it was just another normal thing. It wasn't until he finally calmed down and said, "Speak, for I am listening," that the message got through. The voice had been calling the whole time. The voice didn't change. Samuel finally stopped long enough to take it, which was different. You are in a talk or listen moment right now. For a long time the voice has been calling your name. You finally stopped to answer today. Think about Elijah. He was tired and ready to give up when he heard a still small voice from heaven. It wasn't the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. Keep in mind that the message came during the quiet time, not the storm. That's how it works. A quiet heart can hear what heaven has to say the best. You didn't miss so many messages because they weren't sent. You were in the storm of your own striving and the voice couldn't be heard over all the noise. It's waiting for things to be quiet. You made it quiet today, which is why the message could finally get through. Let me tell you about who you are becoming. There is no way that you have to live a life full of missed messages and lost clarity. You are someone who is learning to hold the light. Do nothing and live in the present moment. It's dangerous for everything that has tried to keep you confused and calm to be around someone who can hold the light. The fog made you easier to deal with. You can't be stopped now that you're clear. Why has it been so hard to hold on to? Because of that. But that is about to change for good. Let me now close the loop I started with. I told you that a group of researchers in New York had found something about the condition that makes you lose clarity. The dark room you keep going back to. I said I would talk about it again. This is why I waited until now. A solution is only useful when you fully understand the issue it seeks to solve. You now know what the shape is. It hurts to lose the light over and over again. You have seen what is possible when the light is on. Finally, you're ready for the rest, but I need to tell you the truth. This answer has been kept from honest, faithful people for a long time. It's not because heaven tried to hide it. It's because the answer is somewhere most spiritual people don't think to look. It doesn't come wrapped in religious language. It comes from a lab. And the most important thing I will say in this whole message is the link between what science found and what your spirit has been begging for. Take your time building that bridge, because the clarity that heaven stopped you from giving deserves a way to stay. Remember the question I told you to think about at the start of this message. This is the answer. There was a Nobel Prize for it. It was given to a scientist named Dr. Roger Sperry in 1981 for proving something about the brain that most spiritual people have never heard. He proved that the brain is made up of two halves or hemispheres, and that these halves were meant to work together in sync. When they fire at the same time, researchers call it whole brain activation. In this state, you experience the clarity you've been looking for and the ability to know something and hold on to it. The light that stays bright even when things get loud. This part will make you hold your breath. Researchers found that this synchronized whole brain state is the default for about 98% of young children. But by the time they are adults, less than 1% still do. You failed God, but the state doesn't go away. It wears away because the noise screens and constant state of survival in modern life pull the two halves apart over time. The fog that makes it hard to see clearly, and the dark room you keep going back to are not metaphors or flaws in your character. It is a real thing that can be measured, and things that are physical can be fixed. A woman from California had tried everything: prayer, writing in a journal, and all the other things that people in her community did, but she kept ending up. Let me tell you about two people before I tell you what the repair is. In the same place. She believed what was said, but she couldn't feel what it meant. She said something got better after 10 days. A channel that had been closed off was opened up all of a sudden. It wasn't because she worked harder, the receiver had been fixed. Something similar was said by a man from Texas. This person kept things together for everyone else while their own life got thin. It felt like I was talking into a wall when I prayed. After 2 weeks, snorts the fog that had been there for so long that he stopped noticing it was gone. That's because of what neuroscientists in New York led by Dr. Daniel Barron made. The technology they used was clinical neural sync, which is a whole brain activation protocol used in specialized medical settings. It took them years to compress and improve it until it was an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. 24 hours a week, closed eyes and headphones on, that's the only thing that's needed. The smart switch is what they call it. It's not an app for meditation. This isn't a mood sound. It is a specific set of sounds that were created based on DUA. SPAR's Nobel Prize-winning research to bring the two hemispheres back into sync and return the brain to the state it was in when you were a child. Not everyone can use the genius switch. For the chosen one who knows that God not only planned the message, but also the mind that can understand it. The person who paused today to listen, who heard the call and kept coming back to it even when nothing was working, and who was finally ready to stop seeing their fog as a flaw in themselves and start seeing it as something with a fixed address. Most people who hear this will scroll past because they are used to the room being dark. You stopped. You're still here. That isn't a mistake. Someone with that level of attention is exactly the one this was made for. It will surprise you how much it costs, so let me tell you, people who work with Dr. Barron told him that this was worth at least $500. Neurofeedback that is done in person costs $300 an hour. It can cost $7,000 for a home machine. It wasn't put out at $500,000, $200, or $100. At $49, it came out today on the direct page. An extra ton off brings the price down to $39. You can get 4 free add-ons with it. A guided visualization from a well-known author. A grocery list that saves you $100 a month. A text from the Thick 8 Ends on attracting provision, and a printable list of 5 daily habits. All of it comes with a money-back guarantee that doesn't matter what. Just listen once, 80 times listen. Every dollar you spend will be returned if it doesn't help you in the same way that it has helped over 18 Zen other people. There are no conditions. I should make one thing clear after this page. The $39 price is not guaranteed. The team has told everyone that the price is going to go up. That's not stress. It's just the way things are when you can't get clinical-grade neurological restoration. You can find copies of this sound on common platforms if you look for something that sounds like it. The team looked into them and found that most of them didn't have any real neural sync. How it works is what makes the difference, and they were the only ones who could build it. The only source that has been checked is the direct page, which is where the link in the description and the pinned comment goes. Before you make any choices, read everything there. Listen carefully because what I'm about to say will keep your heart safe. The tool doesn't stand in for God. It doesn't take the place of obedience. It doesn't listen to you. What God is telling you doesn't depend on any tool. A tool that heals the receiver only helps you remember what God is saying long enough to do what He says. Snorts, if your spirit told you something while I was talking, don't try to argue it away. As a chosen one who doesn't want to keep losing every clear word to the fog, talk about the words. I will hold the light. Some of you may be starting to doubt, and I understand that. Let me answer that question. You've done things before. Sound files, apps, and practices that said they would help you hear clearly and did for a few days before wearing off. I get how tired you are, but hear the difference. Most of what is sold only shows a small part of the whole and leaves the two halves just as separated as it found them. Who is the doctor? To get to the root of the fog, Byrne works at the level of hemisphere synchronization itself. He does this using a layered protocol that has been improved over years of clinical work. This is a different mechanism, and this kind of result comes from a different mechanism. This is another reason why you never kept the light on when you tried. You can't get two parts to agree by working harder on them. It takes a few minutes at a time, but you gently retune them until clarity is the norm instead of the exception. The main idea behind this message is not a tool. Though once the line is clear, you can finally hold on to the voice of God. Let's go back to that now, because the most important part is still to come for the chosen one who felt something stir when the mind was talked about earlier. That door is still open in the description and the comment that was pinned. It's only a small step, but big changes have come from small steps taken with a clear head. I will only point to that place. Everything left in this message is connected to something deeper. And it's time to go back to that. I want to talk about who you are right now. When everything has stopped, there is nothing wrong with you that makes you miss what heaven has to say. You pay attention. You are one of the few people who really stops when heaven says to. A lot of people feel the push and keep running. Today you felt it and did what it told you to do. Simply being able to be stopped by love and to actually receive it is one of the most valuable skills anyone can have, and you have it to work at full strength. It only needed the fog to be gone. You also take care of clarity. People who won't protect others don't get clear words from heaven. Someone has given you so many moments of clarity, even ones that you later lost. This tells you something. God trusts that you will understand the message once you have it in your hands. That's why God keeps talking to you. You are not being told to keep it for yourself. You're being told to walk it out and then give it to other people who are still lost in the noise. That's the assignment that's hidden in this moment of silence. And you are the one who breaks it. When you learn to stop and listen, heaven can use you to stop other people. Right now, some people in your life are moving too quickly to hear the message that will make their whole lives different. Now that you know how to do the holy interruption, you will be the one to tell them what was said to you today. Don't go, put it down. There's something that heaven wants to tell you. People will feel free to be still around you because you are still. That's one reason why this was sent to you so quickly. Let me give you something to use in your everyday life, Snorts, because revelation that isn't put into practice wears off by morning. You should quiet down and clear your receiver every day before the noise of the world gets to you. The idea is the same whether you do it in silence through breath or by doing the restoration I talked about earlier. You don't rush into the noise to start your day. You started in silence, so that the voice you came to hear can be heard clearly before the day static comes in. People who keep losing the light don't give it a chance to land very often. If you start each day by being still, you will be clear for the rest of the day. This second practice should be kept up. When the noise comes back, which it will, don't try to fight it by thinking more hard. Give it a name. It takes away its power when you call it out by name. This is the noise, not the truth. The noise says run, settle down. You imagine the message. The truth says stop. Hold on, the message was real. As long as you think the noise is your mind, it has power over you. As soon as you realize it's just interference from a split system, it loses its power and you can hear the clear, still voice that was always there. Just one more real story before we sign off on this. It will help you keep your faith. Someone had been given clear word after clear word for years, but they lost all of them in a few days from the fog. They began to think that something was wrong with them and that they were not able to follow through. They didn't say they heard new things. When the receiver was finally fixed, they said they could finally remember what they had heard. The clarity stopped going away. And for the first time ever, the words they heard in the light stuck with them through the next day, and the next until they had walked, one of them all the way out. That isn't an okay case. In that case, a heart that is still is given a receiver that is clear enough to hold the light. Before we end, I want to show you something and have you do it with me. This is where the message stops being words and becomes an experience. Take it easy wherever you are. Do not hold yourself up. Take a slow breath in and out. Imagine that you are in a room that has been very noisy for a long time with 12 voices talking at the same time. The noise of each worry and thought is layered on top of the others. Now picture a hand reaching out and turning down each of those voices one by one until the room is completely silent. There was always one voice speaking through the noise. It was patient, steady, and loving. That was the voice you came here to hear. Now listen to it. It's calling your name. It means it was close at all times. It's telling you that this is the only message it's been trying to send you. It was never meant for you to settle for less than what was planned for you. You are loved and seen. Let that voice fill the room with sound. When the light is on, this is what it sounds like. Now, slowly, I'd like to bring you to the end of this message, the part where what you've heard will stay with you. Do not force yourself to feel grateful. Just quietly acknowledge that you stopped today, that you listened, and that a part of you is still soft and open after everything that tried to make you tough. There is grace in that, and it should be respected more than anything else. Let me show you how to get free now. Gather everything you came in with. The tiredness, the desire to settle, and the fog that keeps getting in the way of your vision like sand in your hands. Then take a deep breath in and let it all fall out. Stop making noise. Do not accept the smaller version of your life that you were about to accept. Don't worry that you'll lose the light again. Let it all fall out of your hands and hit the ground. You'll feel lighter afterward. Rise into who you are from that lightness. Say it with me, even if you don't say it out loud. I heard when I stopped. I am not going to give up. I can hold the light. The voice that called me will also keep me. I listen, I watch, and I speak up. The message heaven stopped me to give, I will carry and I will obey. Seal it where you can see it. If your whole heart agrees, tell me what you heard and I'll do what you say. That's the last thing your distraction should hear today. You are a chosen one who has finally stopped long enough to hear what love has been waiting to say. Listen to this last word over your life. You weren't accidentally cut off today. Love stopped you because it wouldn't let you settle for less than your destiny. This message has been sent. When the light comes on, the only thing left to do is keep it on and walk straight into everything that was ready for you before the noise started. Don't run anymore. You've reached the spot where heaven can finally reach you. And it is so. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. Faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give and it will be given to you is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment. A place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your breakthrough is waiting. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of. It is a sign from God, our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says, this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. When Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you," on this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and this is not poetry. Hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart. And as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now. Join the family and see your heavens.